The moving truck pulled away from my driveway at 3 a.m., and I watched my childhood home, the one I bought with my own blood, sweat, and tears, fade into the darkness as my parents' frantic calls lit up my phone for the 47th time that night. They'd shown up at my door 6 hours earlier with my brother and a lawyer, demanding I hand over $340,000 to cover his gambling debts or face the consequences of tearing this family apart. My mother actually said I owed it to them after everything they'd sacrificed. I looked at my brother's smug face, at the parents who'd chosen his failures over my success my entire life, and I made a decision that would haunt them forever. I sold everything. The house, the car, the furniture, every single thing I'd worked 16-hour days to afford while putting myself through college as they paid for my brother's third degree that he never finished. Within 72 hours, I'd liquidated my entire visible life, transferred the money to accounts they didn't know existed, and vanished like smoke. But here's what they didn't know. I'd been planning this for 3 years. See, this wasn't the first time they demanded I bail out their golden child. At 23, they'd guilt me into co-signing his car loan. He defaulted, and I spent 2 years rebuilding my credit. At 27, they'd begged me to invest in his revolutionary business idea. I lost $40,000 when he spent it all in Vegas. At 30, they'd asked me to let him move into my spare room temporarily. He stayed for 8 months, never paid rent, and stole my late grandmother's jewelry to pawn for betting money. Each time, they'd chosen him. Each time, I'd been the selfish one for having boundaries. Each time, they'd promised it was the last time. So when I found out about the $340,000 3 months before they confronted me, because his bookie contacted me directly, thinking I was his emergency contact, I started preparing. I documented everything. Every ignored call for help. Every birthday they missed because they were dealing with his latest crisis. Every family dinner where my promotions were met with silence while his participation trophies were celebrated like Olympic gold. I hired a forensic accountant and discovered something that made my blood boil. My parents had taken out a second mortgage on their home to cover his debts twice before, and now they were facing foreclosure. Instead of letting him face consequences, they were planning to guilt me into saving them all. Again, the lawyer they brought wasn't even real, just my brother's friend dressed up to intimidate me. They gambled that I'd break like I always did, that family obligation would override my common sense one more time. They gambled wrong. I moved 2,000 miles away to a city where nobody knew my name, changed my phone number, deleted all social media, started over with a new job that paid even better than my old one, and I waited. Within 6 weeks, their house went into foreclosure. My brother's bookies started pressing harder. My parents' friends started asking questions about where their successful daughter went and why she'd abandoned them. The story they'd told, that I'd cruelly abandoned them in their time of need, started falling apart when people asked what kind of need required $340,000. The truth came out in pieces. At church, at the country club, in their social circles. People started connecting dots. The successful daughter who'd been invisible at family gatherings, the son who'd never held a job for more than 6 months, the parents who'd always made excuses, my mother's sister, my aunt who'd always secretly understood, finally spoke up. She told everyone what she'd witnessed for years, how they'd expected me to fund their retirement while my brother drained them dry, how they'd stolen from my college fund to pay for his lawyers when he got his second DUI, how they'd told me my wedding budget was wasteful while spending $80,000 on his destination bachelor party for a wedding that never happened. The final blow came when my brother's bookie, frustrated with the runaround, exposed everything online. Names, amounts, dates. My family became a cautionary tale in our hometown. My parents lost their house. My brother finally faced legal consequences. And me? I'm sitting in my new apartment overlooking the ocean, building a life they can never touch again, surrounded by people who value me for who I am, not what I can provide. They wanted $340,000. Instead, they lost their daughter, their dignity, and their illusions. And the only thing I regret is not disappearing sooner. Some debts can never be repaid, and some families don't deserve the chance to try.